guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about everything that's been going on with me in the month of April. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Shardae. I'm a homeschool mom to 5 children, and we've been homeschooling for 5 years. I have an 8-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, a 3-year-old son, and 5-month-old twins. Seems like 5 is like a vibe right now. So today I'm going to be talking about everything that's been happening with us in April, and I have some notes on my phone, so you may see me look down. So to start, just with me personally, I have started going back to church. If you don't know, I am on staff at my church. I'm the children's ministry leader, and I also am an elder. I'm not fully back. I'm still on maternity leave, but I've started like actually attending service as opposed to watching it online and being a part of service, but not actually, you know, like performing duties. And also I am teaching. I taught one time this month children's Sunday school. So I have about another month before I'm fully back. So I'm liking this way of me easing myself back into it. And also the twins are, you might hear some baby noise. The twins are laying down. I'm actually in my closet, so the twins are laying down in the bed right here. And yeah, so I'm back on staff. I'm easing my way back into things, and that's been going well. Me and the children were well received when we got back to church, and it's just been a fun experience to just be attending as opposed to serving. And I think that's like a whole nother topic, but just being able to be in a position to receive has been very interesting. And I'm glad the Lord had humbled me through that, through this season of my life, to being back to a receiver as opposed to being a server. So we haven't really needed to make any curriculum adjustments. As you guys saw, we had a mid-year promotion to where my daughter, I say mid-year promotion, but she is 2nd grade. That's it, you know. But also we were using kindergarten / 1st grade curriculum, and we've moved the curriculum to 1st grade / 2nd grade. So I guess you can say she's like a 1.5 grader. I don't know if that makes sense, but she's like a half year. And so I'm hoping by next year, October, if I map everything out, if everything goes how I've mapped it out, October, she will be a 3rd grader, meaning, so in August, September, she'll be 3rd grade, but she'll be using like 3rd grade curriculum. I'm not really like a hound on that. Like, she's in the 3rd grade, that's it. But also just, I'm keeping in mind that we are probably like a little bit behind when it comes to like what her reading levels might be. And I'm not stressing about it. The reason why this matters is because in my county, homeschool children are allowed to take 2 high school classes online. So I just want to be cognizant of what she's actually doing. And I know she's only in elementary school, but kind of like really mapping out her plan, because when she goes to high school, if she ends up taking 2 online courses with our county, I want her to be able to withstand with her peers. So that's just the only reason why I'm like really thinking about like what that means for her. And we have lots of time to catch up. I'm not stressing, but I just wanted to let everyone be aware of like why it even matters, you know, what her reading level is and all that. And I think that they can take advanced level courses and all that. So I am cognizant of her future plans as we plan out, even that she's only in the 2nd grade. April has been probably one of the most fun months because it's starting to get very, very nice. The thing about it being nice outside is that I am finding that I like being outside. So it's not too cold, it's not too hot, it's just perfect. There's breezes, the kids are playing with bubbles, chalk, there's the park, and all kinds of things. We're bike riding, we're walking, we're doing all these things. And I found probably towards the end of April that I was more interested in being outside than being in the house, which is totally fine, right? Because come July, we're not going to want to be outside in the afternoons because it's going to be too hot. So I'm just trying to be cognizant of, okay, we really need to focus. And even if that means having school outside, I think that that would be super fun. There's even places, like when we were going to the park, I was kind of looking at places where we could sit and have school outside, and I am totally down for that. So it's just nice, and I need to be, okay, focus. But I know that we are gonna have plenty of time indoors when it's way too hot to be outside. Okay, so for my daughter, curriculum wise, I am finding that I am totally loving my choices. I'm so glad that I used The Good and the Beautiful for the first year to give me a leg up and give me time to research what we really wanted and how I wanted my homeschool to go. I purchased Easy Grammar to go with part of our language arts, and we've been using it for 2 weeks, 2 weeks now, and it's really elevated the way that she speaks. I know that we did one lesson on when to use well versus when to use good. So, don't use, she runs good. No, she runs well. Don't say she travels good. She travels well. And like, just the way that she's speaking, just from 2 weeks, it's been like, she's been like elevated. Also, like with vocabulary, I don't test her for vocabulary, but we are using the Sadlier vocabulary, and I think it's the purple book. Well, even with the vocabulary, I made it a, decision like, okay, I'm not gonna test her on it. I don't want it to be like this gotcha moment. Maybe when she's in high school or upper middle school, we'll actually test her, like, to see how much she's retaining. So for 10 minutes, we're working on the vocabulary book, and I find that that is elevating her speech as well. So for any mamas who are thinking like, oh my God, I'm not testing my child, testing, and I used to be a teacher, the reason that we test kids is because we have so many of them, right? We can't just verbally have a conversation with them. But when you're having a conversation with your child and you're using these words, and I also make it a point to use these words like throughout the day, like she doesn't know I'm using it, but to kind of incorporate it into our everyday conversation so that it kind of like trickles down into her. That's the reason why we test kids in school, is so because we can't verbally communicate with all of them, test them verbally. So I just find that having a more laid back approach about the vocabulary and tests is better for my daughter. Now for my son, it might be something different, but for right now, it's working for Jessela. And I just want to encourage all the mamas to kind of do what works for your home. So if you're testing your child, great. If you're not testing your child, great. Whatever works for your kiddos. Math, we are using Apologia Math Level 2. That's also going great. We are going to stop it once we finish this unit. We're not even going to go to the second. No, I'm sorry. We're going to stop after the first chapter. We're not even going to go to chapter 2. So chapter 1 and 2 is one unit. We're just going to stop after chapter 1, and we're going to migrate to addition facts that stick, because Apologia recommends that your child have certain facts down before you move on to the next unit. So for this unit, they are recommending that they have their math facts addition doubles memorized. And I don't know if I agree with the whole memorization, but I do agree with it having, I want it to be more automatic. Like, she's still counting on her fingers. And though there's nothing wrong with that, once we begin to get deeper into math, those skills should be more automatic. And if they're not, it's going to take up more time, and it's also going to cause frustration because you're going to try to add on to the fact that they have to think about these more automatic things. So I'm taking her away from that to move her to addition facts that stick, because I like the approach. And basically what it is thinking about numbers on the from the standpoint of 10. So if we're doing, let's say 6 plus 7, right? You need 3 more to make it to 10, and you have 3 left over. So that gives you 13. If we're doing 7 plus 5, you need 3 more to make it to 10, and you have 2 left over. So that gives you 12. And I like that approach because it should be just more like boom, 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 boom. And I'm thinking about her math career as opposed to like a right now thing. And I'm okay with taking that time to really hone those, not hone in, I guess I should say, refine those math fact skills, just so that math is not going to take us all day once she gets a little more into advanced math. When it comes to phonics, loving that. I love the fact that they recommend books. I love the fact that there's tactile things that we can do. I love the fact that it incorporates some of the writing skills that we're learning, some of the grammar skills that we're learning, teaching her how to sound the word out, and like the science behind, there is a science behind phonics. I know a lot of people, you know, just sound the word out and they should be able to do it, but there's also a way to build on those skills. And I like it's helping me feel more confident to teach her and to teach my children that are coming after her, because at the same time, I have what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I wasn't feeling as confident about the way I was teaching her how to read. And this has really helped me feel confident. And I'm going to be honest, there's no tears. Also, I started her, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I started her on unit 2, and the first day, like, she was bawling, right? Because I thought that, okay, we've done some blends. She knows these sight words already, so let's just start her here, right? It still was going to be some type of review. But when we did that first lesson, she was crying. And I said, well, you know what? Mommy started you off on the wrong foot. I want to start you, let's just start from the beginning, which is just starting with short sound A and some sight words. And I realized that building her confidence was what was needed. I just find myself really pouring into her, into that area, because like, if you don't know how to read, you can't really do anything. You can't even do math. So just reading is important, and I'm gonna stick beside her. I'm going to teach her everything she needs to learn, and we're going to do it in a way that makes her feel good. So we did start back with unit 1, and everything is going great. I do feel as though it's a little too easy for her, but there are some times where she's like, sounding out the word. So we'll see, but it's a good program. And we are using from Phonics to Reading Level A. So the Harcourt readers for grade 1, those are a little bit too easy for her as well, but we are sticking with just building that confidence, so she feels like she's just reading the little readers, and she's doing great. And we are enjoying those activities that come with it as well. I'm not sure if I will continue with those readers once she gets to, I would say, 4th grade. Like, I'd like to do grade 2 and grade 3 to go along with the phonics program that we are using, but we'll see. I'm just thinking more along the lines of going towards more like books where, because once she's reading, it won't matter. Like, she can read anything. But now having the readers just gives her more of a direct line of like reviewing what we already know. Another thing is the 180 days of spelling. So in from phonics to reading, they do give you a suggestion of spelling words, but I'm just not as organized as I'd like to be able to use their list. And maybe, you know, with other kids I might use their list, but with 180 days of spelling, it does go along with how they are teaching it. So the first week was short A, the second week is short I, and things of that nature. So it's moving along with the curriculum, and I couldn't be more happier. In her 5 activities, and then also I probably should do a video on this, but the way that they test, you can, when you do an assessment, you just give them 2 words in a sentence, and that's it. They don't have a long list of words to assess them for. If you want to give them all the words, you can, but it takes less than 5 minutes to give them their spelling test. Science is going great. I will say that today my daughter did ask to do more labs. So once we finish this unit, I will probably go to core knowledge and let them take a unit again. The thing that I wasn't really feeling with core knowledge was that, well, one, I don't have a printer that is, you know, I don't have like the eco style printer or anything. Like, it's a HP old printer, uses up a whole bunch of ink. So when I printed out the book for the, what unit was that, electricity and magnetism unit, it used like half of my color ink. So, and then to do it at Staples, it would have been like $30. I don't know. And then to print all of those pages from the teacher's book, I just don't have the printer for that. And so I'll see about just ordering it. I'm not a fan of just having it on the computer, my tablet and my phone and all that, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not disciplined. And if I have, when we're doing school, I'm pretty much my phone, my tablet, all that is on a charger in the room, just away from me, so that I can just strictly focus on the tasks that I need to do, like taking care of the home and school and the kids. The phone gets in the way of that, and the tablet gets in the way of that. So I'm just, to be honest, I'm just not disciplined to have something on the computer in that capacity. Like, you know, for our piano, what else is on the computer? Typing, that type of stuff is fine. But even for piano, I print out the book and we're just watching the video to play the lesson. I'm just not disciplined, and I know that about myself. If I were, it probably would save us a lot of money. But at the same time, we just need hard copies, because I'm being refined as well, and just making sure that I am present is what matters. Art is going great. If you don't know, we're using Harcourt Art on the days. So pretty much for every lesson there's an activity, but like there's like a day for introduction, and those don't have an activity. So what I was doing is using 52 art labs for kids, and those have been so fun. Like, even Jessie is like taking what we were learning and taking it to church on Sundays and like teaching the other kids what to do. And so we do art on Mondays, and on Tuesdays in the morning, she's like, wants to teach art to her brothers. It's so cute, but it's fun. I sit and do it with her as well, and I'm finding that I like art, and I like to create, and I like to color, and I like, you know, using different mediums to show my view of how something is going to look. So that's been pretty fun, and I'm learning along with her. Amazing Africa is going great. We are just in the thick of it, and it's a beautiful experience. It's more of a social study. I call it history, but it's more of a social studies, and I am not getting anxious about this, but it is on my mind about where do we go next. I didn't realize that I had thoughts about the way that history was presented, and in what era it's presented, to who it's presented to. And it's very interesting but it's the introduction of it. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so it's not necessarily the way, it's more of the introduction of it. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that because there's just thoughts that I don't know how to express about it. Yeah, that's just, we'll just leave it at that. PE is going great. So what we do is we have like a little health lesson and then from Harcourt, and then if there's any questions we just talk about it. I don't even go through the questions that they have. And then we'll do like a workout video, or we'll take a walk in the neighborhood. We found this dinosaur workout video. It was like a brain break, and that was pretty fun. I was exhausted doing it. So now what I do what they've been asking for is while I'm cooking lunch, they want me to turn it on so that they can work out. So that's been pretty cool. It's on YouTube. I'll try to link it in the description box, but it's one of my favorite things to like just turn on for them while I get lunch together. So, typing. We haven't even started, all right? This is what happens. Monday, we do super great. We do everything. Tuesday, we do like, And I think, what do we usually, Tuesday is like a PE day. So that's a good day too. Wednesday is when it starts to go a little bit downhill. And so on Wednesday, we are doing everything, but we probably will skip specials, like the electives. And I'm trying to get out of that, but it's like kind of like, and then by Friday, we're pooped. So that's why even on Friday, like it's Fun Friday, but that's because we typically are just not interested in school by Friday. So then like on Thursday, we're usually doing like a half day. It's a whole thing. I want to get better at that. And then really aren't even really doing piano. They've been free playing. I haven't even been, because we're doing piano so that because I want to learn. But they've been more or less like free playing on any day. Like it's not even a specific day that I've like dedicated to it, which is fine. But I want to get more refined with typing and piano. So hopefully next month we'll hear a different story from me. Cooking, it's going great. Just when I was pregnant with the twins, I taught Jessie how to make some things, and we're just like refining it. Like she knows how to cook eggs. I would like for her to get to a point where she doesn't need me in the kitchen, but she is 8, so I'm gonna monitor her, of course. And I just want to introduce a couple more things to her repertoire of what she can cook. Donovan is on his last unit of the Good and the Beautiful's pre-K. So what I was doing is I was doing half a lesson each day, just because his attention span, he was 4 going on 5. But now that we're going our last unit 4, and that he's going to be starting kindergarten, we actually had the conversation today that we're going to start full lessons. He did very well today, but by the end he was like sitting on the chair, like with his back on the seat part, legs in the air. So it's just cracking up. I mean, I'm not stressing about it, but at the same time, I want to build his stamina for instruction up. And then, like for kindergarten, I'm just gonna stick with the basics. We're just gonna do reading and math and handwriting. That's all we're doing for him. But it's just, I know that his reading lessons are going to take longer. His math lessons are going to take longer. And writing probably won't take that long. But instead of like a 15-minute lesson, it might be 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So we'll see how that all goes. And then for Benjamin, I'm just focusing. He's just along for the ride. He pretty much does what Donovan is doing, except just at a 3-year-old's capacity. I'm also thinking about do I want to move him to the Good and the Beautiful's pre-K, or do I want to do my own thing? I have a pre-K curriculum, and it's actually split up to be just a standard curriculum or Montessori. And I was just looking at it and I was like, okay, Montessori is too involved, but I do like the whole like hand movements and stuff. Montessori might also cost me more. I'm noticing that, like, one of the first lessons, one of the first lessons, you know, he needs clothespins and cardstock, and he's just basically matching the letters with the thing, with the matching letters, one on the clothespin, one on the paper. And like, that's a good idea, but at the same time I have to like go out and get clothespins. It's not like something that I have. So just thinking of ways that I could not have to go out and buy things, but also use the Montessori lesson plans as opposed to the standard, which there's nothing wrong with standard. The standard one, I feel as though has more book recommendations. So we'll see about that. And maybe just for him, the same thing for Donovan that I was doing for Donovan, half a lesson, not even a whole lesson. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's all I have for our homeschool update for April. It's been a great month, and I know you see me, like, I keep looking outside, but again, it's nice outside. The kids are playing with bubbles. I think I'm on like my last bit of time for them to be occupied. And it's also, if I'm not mistaken, it's lunchtime. So that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about any of the curriculum that I mentioned, leave it in the comment box. Let me know how your month of April is going. So if you haven't heard it, just know that our Heavenly Father loves you deeply and that He will move mountains for you. Don't forget to drink your water and repent. Bye.